And that's the thing about unspoken or weak boundaries. People don't respect you when you don't enforce them. So if you don't start enforcing them when they're little, you're not going to get respect when they're big. Hey, it's Morgan, and welcome to Season 2 of Permission Podcast. This season, we're not playing it safe. We're not editing the truth to make it easier to swallow. We're not shrinking it, softening it, or wrapping it up with something more acceptable. This season is where we say it, even when it's uncomfortable, when it changes us, and even when it costs us. Because the truth is, the version of you that everyone understands is usually the version that's been filtered. And I'm not interested in that anymore. This season is about unlearning the rules you didn't realize you were following. The ones that told you who to be, how to love, how to show up, how much you want. It's about taking your voice back, your standards back, and your identity back. Fully, unapologetically, in real time. We're talking about the things people feel but don't always say out loud, desires, boundaries, relationships, identity, power, the messy middle of becoming someone new, not the polished version of it, the real one. So if you've been feeling that quiet pull, like something in your life doesn't quite fit anymore, this is your space. Not to become someone else, but to come back to yourself. This is Permission Podcast, and I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome to another solo episode of Permission Podcast with yours truly. This episode is about my boundaries are not up for discussion. And let me tell you, I used to think that having boundaries meant that I needed to explain them all and soften them and make sure that they made sense to everyone that they were being perceived to, received to, and people who needed to understand why I was making my boundaries. But now my boundaries don't need to be understood. They just need to be respected. And as you know, we go into segments here. So segment 1 is over-explaining is a trauma response. Let's be honest. If you feel the need to over-explain your boundaries, it's usually because you're trying to avoid conflict. It's usually because you're trying to be liked. You're trying to not upset anyone. The thing is that boundaries that need constant explanation aren't actually your boundaries. They're just suggestions. They're just suggestions that you're giving the people around you to decide whether or not they want to do them or not. Now, segment 2, learning the hard way. I'm going to keep my boundaries an example of keeping your boundaries very simple, because I feel like this simple boundary making for yourself can actually go a very long way. Let's say that you are invited to go do a thing with your partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, right? And they're with friends. And you really, really know deep down that you don't feel good. You have a headache, you're not feeling it, your social battery is at 0. Yet you decide, because you don't want to be the annoying girlfriend or the one who doesn't know how to have fun or the one who isn't cool, that you're going to say no to yourself and yes to your partner and their friends, because you want to make sure that you are perceived as the person that is likable. Yet you find yourself in the situation where you're hanging out with them wherever you're at dinner, at a bar, at the movies, depending on how old you are, you're in a scenario where you don't want to be there. And although you've said yes to the experience, you've said yes to being there, your internal mind has told you, I don't want to be here. And unfortunately, because you've said no to yourself, it shows all over your face. Then you're perceived as the person with an attitude or the person who's grumpy all the time, because you have said yes to being in the situation, but you knew damn well you didn't want to go from the get-go. Now, I'm just using that as a very simple scenario because I feel like we've all been there. So I encourage you right now, think of a time where you said yes when you meant no, whether big or small. There have been moments where you've said yes because you want to please the person on the other end, where you've stretched yourself too thin, where you let something slide and then it kept happening. And the thing is, saying yes to something as simple as hanging out with the friends starts to you saying yes to the bigger things, the big things that you actually know you don't want to do. And that's the thing about unspoken or weak boundaries. People don't respect you when you don't enforce them. So if you don't start enforcing them when they're little, you're not going to get respect when they're big. Now in segment 3, we call this the power of a simple no. There is something so incredibly powerful about a clean no. The reason no is in every single language is because it needs to be easily understandable. So say your no with conviction. No extra words, no apology, no over-explaining, just a simple no. And be okay with letting that be enough, because the people who are going to respect you and respect your no, they truly do not need a full presentation to understand your limits. So if you've been feeling drained, stretched, or even resentful, I want you to look at where you're saying yes when you actually mean no, because your boundaries are not mean, they're clarity. They're you understanding who you are and what you stand for. And the right people, they will adjust. Thanks so much for tuning in today's episode. I'm so glad you're here. If today's episode resonated with you, make sure to click like and subscribe. And if you're feeling the pull to share with someone who might be needing the listen, please do so.